Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. We're here today making dinner, but I have no clue what we're gonna make. So we got some potatoes, we got some steak and shrimp. Thinking we're gonna do mashed potatoes with the potatoes. Then I'm almost thinking like a Cajun sauce maybe to go with the shrimp and steak. Do like some steak bites. That's kind of what comes to mind. So let's start putting it together, but you guys are gonna learn this with me because I'm just flying by the seat of my pants here. To start, we're going to marinate our steak. So let me get it out. I think we're going to dice it. We're going to do some steak bites. That sounds kind of good. So let's dice up the steak and throw it in some marinade so it has some time to absorb all the flavors. We do have a flank steak here, so that is all. But we're going to dice it up and start the marinade. Before we continue on, here's the freezer. Again, no real updates. We took some shrimp out of the bottom there and then a steak out of the door. But we still have a good bit left. All right, we're just going to dice it. Honestly, this is giving me the ick. I think I'm going to take this off. So we're gonna dice it. We're gonna go with the grain here first. This feels sacrilegious to do with a flank steak, but we're doing it. We'll do one more. Okay. We're just gonna dice it into like some little bite-sized pieces here. All right, let me wash my cutting board real quick and we will start the marinade. I have a steak marinade that I like to use. I guess I didn't get any of the ingredients. Let me go get the ingredients. So we have our little spread here, what I like to use for a steak marinade. So we're going to start with a little drizzle of olive oil. Add in some Worcestershire. Just kind of a couple dashes there. Some soy sauce. We have salt and pepper, along with some oregano. You could also use parsley if you wanted. And then some chopped garlic, of course. And we will mix it all together. And we'll marinate it probably for 20 minutes or so before we actually cook it. So give it some time to absorb all those flavors. And then we'll put it in the fridge for about 10 minutes, but we will bring it out to room temperature in about another 10. The next thing we're going to do, because it'll take the longest, is wash the potatoes, and then we're going to dice them up to make the mashed potatoes. So this will be the next longest step, I think, just because they boil for so long. So we're going to get these washed and chop them. So we're going to dice these up and put them in the pot. Oh, these should be good potatoes. They look really organic and really dirty. They smelled like dirt. Then we're going to put them in our pot here. We will eventually submerge them in water here. Oh, this looks like plenty of potatoes to me for some mashed potatoes. The next thing we're going to do is defrost the shrimp, take off the tails, and just make sure that it's deveined. And then I don't know what we're going to do with it, but let's start there. Please ignore the 3 things in the sink. Our dishwasher's clean, and I haven't emptied it yet. So you do want to rinse them with cold water. Don't make it hot. I don't know if you guys do it, but I take out this little track on the lower side. It is gross to me, so we take it off. This might sound crazy, but I bought these from Aldi, not realizing they're cut. It says deveined, but they have the shell on. But and really they're sweet chili. The vein is like right through the middle still. So I'm not sure if they're deveined or not. So we're gonna thaw these out, and it's gonna take off the Thai sweet chili, but we're gonna have a little more shrimp here, so we're gonna take it off, take off the skin, and separate them into two so we can get rid of the other poop track that's in it. Very unconventional, and I really don't like this, but here we are because I want a little more shrimp than what we have. Next steps, we're gonna fill our potato pot with cold water. Now we're gonna add some salt and put it on the stove. I'm gonna do just some normal grinder sea salt today. We'll turn it on a high heat. Mix it up just to incorporate the salt, and that'll take a couple minutes to come up to a boil. We're bouncing around just a little bit here. So I put the shrimp on a plate with some paper towels so we can dry them off. We're going to season them with a little bit of blackening seasoning. I'm probably getting a lot here on the paper towel, but flip it over in a few minutes here. It's not too much of a big deal because our sauce is going to be nice and flavorful. But we're going to do that with the shrimp and let them sit for a couple minutes. And I think we're going to start up our sauce. So one thing we know we need to do is dice up some onions because you can't have a sauce without some onions. I'm about to use every pot that I own for this meal. So we're going to make some chicken broth. So I got out our smallest pot, and then we're going to do some chicken bouillon cubes. Probably just one, because you'll only need about a half cup of chicken broth for this recipe. So we're going to put 1 cube into the pot. We're going to go fill it with some water over at the sink and then boil it on the back burner. So that will help serve as one of the bases for the sauce, and the other half will be heavy cream and milk mixed together. But on this burner, we are going to start cooking up the onions. So we'll put that to a medium heat. Give that a minute or two to kind of come together here, and then we're going to saute them and sweat them down. Our pan is preheated just enough, actually maybe not even enough. We're going to do a little bit of butter in the pan and then toss in our onions. Chicken broth over here is completed. It's been boiled and ready to go, so we're just going to keep that off to the side here. Now we're going to throw our onions into our pan. Let me go ahead and wash the knife and cutting board. All right, this is starting to sizzle a little bit. So we're going to toss the onions in the butter. We'll just let them cook down for probably, I don't know, probably just 2 or 3 minutes until they're a little bit opaque. These have been cooked down for just a couple minutes here, and they should be about the right texture and consistency that we want. So it is time to throw in our minced garlic. I guess it's considered chopped garlic. We will mix that in, get it nice and fragrant. We're going to pour in our chicken broth. And then we're also going to get our heavy cream from the fridge. So it calls for a half cup of heavy cream, so I'll probably do about a half cup there. I usually just eyeball everything in all honesty. It's maybe a little more than a half cup. We are going to really season it up here. I don't know if you guys are ready. We've got some blackening seasoning. It calls for Cajun, but the Cajun seasoning that I have is not very good in my opinion. But we're also going to add in some additional seasonings. So we have smoked paprika. Again, I don't really measure any of this, unfortunately. Calls for cayenne, but I don't have cayenne, so I'm going to do just a light dash of chili powder for a little bit of spice. I am going to go ahead. I always throw in garlic and onion powder, just a little bit on this end, since we're adding in real onions and garlic. And then some parsley. And it actually called for the fresh parsley to be on top, but I don't have fresh parsley, so we're going to use some dried and just throw it in the sauce. So we'll give it a minute or two here to kind of come together. The last thing we'll do is maybe just a little squeeze of lemon juice. So we're gonna let this heat up and thicken and kind of come together. And then we'll give it a taste to make sure it's not missing anything. Check our potatoes here. All right. Unfortunately, the sauce is going to be done before the potatoes, and I don't want to cook up the meat until the potatoes are done. I want the meat to be cooked and you eat it right away. So we're going to give it just a minute here, let this thicken, and then wait for this to cook a little bit more. All right. It's finally been brought to a boil, and honestly, it's thickening up right away. Oh, I meant to give it a little bit of salt and pepper. Let me do a little salt and pepper and turn it down so it doesn't boil too high. Maybe even finish it with a little bit of Parmesan. That sounds good to me. I know that a lot of these seasonings are in blackening seasoning, but I don't care. Give it a little taste on the spoon. Mmm. Oh, what does that need? Honestly, the paprika in there's delicious. Doing just a little more blackening seasoning, but I do think it might need a little Parmesan or something. Actually, let's do a little bit of oregano too. That doesn't hurt. I just am making this up. Totally making this up. All right, we'll give it just another minute or two here to thicken up. Then we'll turn it off, but we will turn it back on when we go to add it in with the steak and shrimp, just to make sure that it's nice and warm and it's cooked and thickened properly. Our potatoes are done here, so we are going to go ahead and strain them. Then we're going to get them mashed and then start working on the steak and shrimp. As you've heard, there's a couple ways that I mash it. You can use a fork, you can use a stand mixer or a hand mixer, but I don't want to get out my hand mixer right now. So we're just going to do it with a fork. You always start your mashed potatoes with a nice helping of butter. So throw that in, mix it up so it can melt through. And I kind of just make my way around, kind of like this. And it all mashes nicely. Now we're going to add in a little bit of milk for a little bit of extra creaminess. And just a splash. You don't want too much to make it too liquidy. I'll start there. Should be plenty. Oh yeah, that'll be fine. Let me go put the rest of this away. Now we're going to add in our seasonings. And for my mashed potatoes, I always do salt, pepper, and garlic. Sometimes you might do a little bit of paprika if you want a little kind of smoky flavor to it. That's good too. You could mix in cheese to your mashed potatoes, some chives. There's plenty of ways you can make it. Some people throw in sour cream instead of a milk. You could do heavy cream instead of milk. There's so many ways you could do it. A little more of every seasoning. All right, and these should be good. So it is time to move on to our shrimp and steak. Start bringing it all together. I did forget something with the sauce. We're going to add a little bit of butter to finish it off. So we'll really just throw it in with the steak and shrimp after we cook it. And for now, let's preheat our pan to about a medium-high heat. And we'll give it just a minute here. All right, I lied. We're going to throw the butter in here now, just because I think it'll help thicken it up a little bit like we need it to as well. So we're going to bring that back up to a light simmer and then throw in about a tablespoon of butter. I'm going to take a rubber spatula too and scrape these sides. So there's a lot here on the sides that's kind of stuck up there. But we'll incorporate that back in there. Oh, I should have been using this from the start. This is a nice little spatula. I think it's time to cook up our meats. It's preheated, so we're going to go ahead and throw in our olive oil. Don't be afraid here with the oil either. So I'm going to throw in my little steak bites kind of one by one. I don't want the liquid in the pan. But we got to go somewhat fast because it's going to cook fast. Then we're going to throw in the shrimp for just a minute or two as well. Oh, gotta love the oil popping. Oh, oh, oh. Cook that for just a quick minute here. Over on the other side here, this is up to a boil, so we're going to throw in our tablespoon of butter. Just incorporate that in, and we should be good on that sauce. It'll help thicken it and make it a little more creamy as well. All right, I think it's time to throw in the shrimp. And these will cook up nice and fast as well. Ooh! So give this just a minute to kind of come together. I'll turn off the sauce here. Should be fine. We will flip it over one more time in just a minute here. And then we're going to add in our sauce, and it'll be ready. We're going to turn it down to about a medium low. I just don't want to burn the cream sauce here. Should all come together beautifully. Any of the oil and bits in this are just going to make it even more flavorful, so I'm super excited for this. Let's throw it on in. Ooh, and then just let it simmer for a minute here. All right, let's serve a little bit up and give it a little bit of a taste test, quality test to it. I took one little shrimp and one little bite of steak. I'm hoping the steak's not overcooked, but I'm worried it is. I know flank steak is probably not the steak to do this with, but that's all we had, so. Not a huge fan of the steak. That's upsetting. I'm going to be really sad now. The shrimp is good. I did not care for the steak, though. But I just don't think it's the right cut for this. I'm going to have to cut the steak really small to eat it. Other than that, the flavor's good. I like the shrimp. I think I would do it again with the shrimp 100%. I think you could even do it with some rice. If you didn't want mashed potatoes, do it with some rice. You have options on ways you can do this, but I like the sauce itself. I like the shrimp. Thank you all for sticking around today as we made some steak and shrimp and some Cajun sauce. I hope you'll stick around and experience more.